If you're thinking about selling online, there's one question that always comes up. Should you sell on Etsy or eBay? Both platforms can make you money, but they're completely different. From the types of customers you'll attract, to the fees you'll pay, to how much profit you'll actually make. So in this video, I'm going to break down the pros, the cons, the fees, audiences, and best products for each platform, and help you decide exactly where you should sell. But before we compare anything, here is the key difference between the two. Etsy is a marketplace for unique, creative, handmade, vintage, and digital products. eBay is a marketplace for everything, from second-hand items to electronics to collectibles. So if you think of Etsy as niche, aesthetic, curated, and then eBay as broad, price-driven, and high competition. The best platform for you depends on what you're selling and how you want to run your business. But what sells best on each? So let's start with Etsy, which has exploded in popularity due to digital products. With the best-selling Etsy categories right now include digital downloads, so like planners, templates, printables, handmade jewelry and gifts, custom items like personalised mugs or prints, wedding products, wall art and home decor, Notion templates, and business tools. Now, Etsy shoppers are willing to pay a bit more for items that feel unique, personal, and creative, so essentially not mass-produced. There's more of a handmade touch. So if you want to build a brand or sell creative products, then Etsy's probably the place for that. But if we take a look at what sells best on eBay, it's a lot more flexible of what you can sell. And the buyers, they really come for variety and good pricing. The best-selling categories on eBay right now include electronics, collectibles and trading cards, second-hand clothing, tools and hardware, refurbished tech, car parts, bundles, and bulk items. So eBay, it's ideal if you're doing reselling, flipping second-hand items, selling unwanted things around your house, or drop shipping or wholesaling. You don't necessarily need an aesthetic brand, you just need products to sell, so it's a bit of a different approach when it comes to Etsy and eBay. But if we take a look at the fees on both, this might help you decide, and this is also where some people get confused. So with Etsy fees, it's a 20p listing fee per item, so a 6.5% transaction fee, there's payment processing fees, and there are optional costs for Etsy ads, but that is only if you go the advertising route. It all adds up, but if your products are high margin digital downloads, where you don't have to pay for stock, your profit is still going to be very strong. Now, if we take a look at the fees on eBay, there's no listing fee for most sellers, so up to a certain limit. There's a final value fee, usually 10 to 15% depending on category. There's the optional promoted listings, just like on Etsy, so advertising on eBay, but that is of course if you want to do that. And there's also a payment processing fee on eBay as well. So in general, Etsy is cheaper for digital products and handmade items, but eBay is a lot cheaper for reselling items or selling items in bulk. Both platforms get millions of visitors, but they attract very different customers. Etsy shoppers, they are primarily women aged 20 to 45. They value creativity, quality, uniqueness. They're more likely to buy personalised or digital items, and they're less price sensitive to some degree. While eBay shoppers is a very wide demographics and a lot of mixed ages. They're typically price driven above all else, and they're looking for deals or second-hand or hard to find items. So if your product relies on aesthetics, branding, customization, Etsy's just the better fit. But if your product is practical, second-hand, or a bit more mainstream, then eBay's the better option. But let's take a look into the pros and cons of each platform and summarise them. So in terms of Etsy pros, it's great for creatives, perfect for digital products, very loyal customer base. There's a potential as well for reoccurring passive income. In terms of the Etsy cons, there's a lot of saturation in some niches. There are digital products that everyone's trying right now, and that makes it more difficult to sell. The fees, they can add up. And you also probably want to maintain good branding, which is something you don't necessarily have to do on eBay. If you take a look at the pros of eBay, it's super easy to start with £0 by selling items you already own. There's a huge marketplace with tons of buyers, and there's very fast sales for the right products. In terms of eBay cons, There's higher competition, there's a lot of sellers on eBay, and it does make it a bit more difficult. So because of the competition, that creates price wars where people will sell the same product, but they'll be just reducing the price again and again and again just to beat out the competition, which kind of creates a race to the bottom pricing, which isn't ideal, and this can in turn lead to lower profit margins. If you're trying to decide which one to go for, here's a simple breakdown. Choose Etsy if you're selling digital products, you want to build a brand, you enjoy design or creativity, or you want passive income. Choose eBay if you're flipping or reselling, you want fast sales, you're selling used items or tech, you don't want to create designs or custom products. Both platforms are great, but your product type determines the winner. If you want help on choosing what to sell, I've put together a beginner product ideas guide with digital products, reselling ideas, which is available on my Patreon. The link is in the description below. But which platform are you going for? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.